right, welcome back to the chat. Welcome back to the chat. Good morning. I hope everything is going well with everybody. Let me say what's up to everybody in the comments section so far. Dwayne Jones in the building. Shout out to Atlanta. My man says, blessings up from Atlanta, Brother Martin. Yes, sir. Shout out to the great land of Atlanta. Used to actually knew a former mayor, actually knew a couple former mayors in Atlanta. Good people. Kasim Reed and Mayor Franklin. Yep, used to know them back in the day. Hope all is well out there in Atlanta. It's all sunshiny out there for you. Adrian Vince says, salute and greetings from the Philippines. Yeah, man. You guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be a good fight. This is actually a fight that I would say is, if it wasn't for the fact that, Errol Spence Jr. got injured, and which led to the fight, this would be a fight that I would be hyped for regardless, man. Unadulterated truth. As always, man. I got to go back and see some of that good cooking you did out there, unadulterated truth. Peace to you and yours. Top of the AM to the chat. Yes, sir. Rick Blackwell in the business. Cousin Blackwell. If you guys don't know, my last name is Blackwell. So always good to see another Blackwell in the chat. Hope all is well with you. Arce Boxing Life. Salute, good brother. Salute to you, man. We're going to talk this boxing this morning. Now, make sure, though, today that you guys actually have your questions with Fannon in the comments section, because the way that I do this chat is I pretty much feed off what's coming on in the chat, and I'm just a member of the conversation that you guys are having in the comment section. So make sure that you give me plenty of questions to answer, and I don't care what the answers. I don't care really what the subject matter is. I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna give it my best, man. But I want to keep the conversation going on in the comment section. Be easy. Grand rising to you, sir. Hope all is well. I've been up for a few hours, but it has been a good day so far. Can't complain. Viva Tu Vita says, salute Martin in the chat. Oops, excuse me. Says, salute Martin in chat salute to the chat this morning. Yes, sir. Welcome to the chat, everybody up there. Ali Voso, man, good music you showed me, man. I appreciate what you do, man. Ali Voso. You should put a link to your music in the chat, man, so people can see it. What's going on? LJNTJ909. Salute to you. What's good with you, sir? Greets with fire. Good morning to you. B&B Boxing News. What's happening? What's going on, B&B Boxing? J Lex in the building. What's happening? Jeff Hobie says, salute. Do you prefer Fannon or your name? Either one works fine with me. Probably in this setting, Fannon probably in this setting, but, if you want to call me Martin, I'm 100% cool with either one of them. It's 50-50 split. You know what I mean? Because I understand most people know the channel Fannon International Boxing. Man, much love in that super chat. Starting off Chillville starting off their super chat today. Mighty heavy. Thank you. Much love in that super chat, man. Chillville said, will Pac dominate Ugas because he's right-handed and flat-footed? Absolutely no, dude. I'm telling you, man, the difference between, Yordenis Ugas is Cuban, and most of the Cuban fighters, during the time he was training in the amateurs, most of them are southpaws. Like you notice Guillermo Rigondeaux's a southpaw. Who are the three major ones? Erislandy Lara is a southpaw. Guillermo Rigondeaux is a southpaw. I want to say Ortiz, man. Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is a southpaw. They switch up a lot of people to fight southpaw in Cuba. So the fact that he was trained in Cuba means he has a lot of knowledge on how to fight southpaw. So I don't think that that's going to be much of an issue at all, man. My man, Isaiah Felix, salute to you, sir. What's going on with you, man? Collecting greatness. Hello, people. Hello to you, collecting greatness. Steve Tyler, good morning, OG Fannon Day, man. Good morning to you. I hope you're doing well today. Peace, Rick God. But must not be for me. Virgil Ortiz versus Calvin Alcas. Who do you got? I got Virgil Ortiz in that. I don't think that they would take the fight if they couldn't win the fight. And I got Virgil Ortiz by a knockout over Ugas Kavanaughis. I think this is a really good step up fight for him though, because Ugas Kavanaughis is not, he's not easy money. But I've got Virgil Ortiz by KO, man. Maine was Ricky Williams said Maine. They should be thanking EJ for extending Manny's career with this injury. Yeah. Hey man, he slipped out of there with one, didn't he? Yeah, but I'm just hoping that his eye gets all the way back and all the way good. Chillville said, great point. I forgot about them. Yeah, man, those guys, the Cubans know how to fight southpaws, man. Salute Ricky, that's not for me. John Pestano said, Casimiro and Rigondeaux, Pac-Man versus Ugas. It's the Philippines versus Cuba. You know what is funny? I saw that the Spanish War, that this is the first time so many Cubans and Filipinos hung out together since the Spanish War. That's a joke that Rigondeaux cracked on his page. Good morning, Martin. What's the word on Tevin Farmer, man? I have no idea. I will absolutely positively look into that for you, Robert Jamello. Robert, I'll look into that and see what the deal is. Last time I heard he was getting freed up. I know that he used to be with DAZN, so he's probably a free agent. I don't think that he stopped fighting once they said that they were going to tighten up their purses. And you know who they tightened up their purses on? They tightened up their purses on the black fighters. Isaiah Lucky said, good morning, Fannon. Good morning to you, sir. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm going to continue to say this. People need to lunch. People do not need to lunch on Yordenis Ugas in this fight, because Yordenis Ugas, even though he's an older fighter, he's 35, so he's not he's not a spring chicken. He ain't 42 years old, dude, and I'm telling you that 42 is going to wind up catch up to Manny Pacquiao eventually. That's why I'm picking Yordenis Ugas in this. I mean, and it's pretty much just on that. If Manny Pacquiao was a younger fighter, I wouldn't be doing that. But I'm not going to continue to keep saying that betting on 42-year-old fighters, man. That shit is getting like, a lot older. Said Pactard's spine grew a spine all of a sudden. Yeah. Talking about Deontay, yeah, I'm sure that he faked an eye injury to get out of there. Man, that shit sounds crazy. Be easy. Ugas can counterpunch and Pacquiao can get caught. He does get reckless with the Juan Manuel Marquez fight is proof. Absolutely. He's always jumping in there, and you got a good counterpuncher and a big welterweight at that in Yordenis Ugas. I think Yordenis Ugas is going to walk him down. I think that but we'll see. That shit would be it'll be interesting, man. Argel Eram said, Pac have a huge respect to Spence and Ugas. He never underestimate Pac. Is disappointed for him is the safety of Spence. His prayer for his full recovery. Absolutely. Manny Pacquiao is a class act, no doubt about it, man. He wasn't one of the people throwing a bunch of stuff at Errol Spence Jr. He's a very respectful man, and definitely has some dignity about himself. And I always respect how Manny Pacquiao handles himself, except for in the instance when he loses fights. Manny Pacquiao gets a little bit sideways when he loses fights. People are really making up eye gate to discredit Errol's eye injury. Shake my head. It's because of what we did to Fury, probably. Look, man. I think that it is somebody just hating on Errol Spence Jr. and trying to make an excuse, trying to say that he pulled out because of this reason or that reason. What's going on, man? My man Richard Hill in the building. What's going on, Fi? How you feeling? Yeah, Ugas did good against Sean. A lot of people thought he won that fight, man. A lot of people thought he won that fight. And he said, especially in the later rounds, Pacquiao fades. Pacquiao was fading against Pacquiao did not finish strong against Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is the one that finished up that fight strong, but he had just had too much of a gap to make up, up until that time, man. Errol must be getting touched in sparring for his eye to be like that. It doesn't take much for that to happen, man. You can get thumbed in the eye and tear a retina. You're getting punched, man. And I'm sure he does get punched in sparring. It's sparring, I don't think anybody goes through sparring. If you going through sparring without getting touched, you need to find different sparring partners. And I do know that he fights bigger sparring partners than himself. Because when I watched him spar, he was sparring against a cruiserweight and a middleweight. Really big guys. I mean, guys that were significantly bigger than him. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt at all if he got touched in sparring. And more than likely, that's how he did it. Hitman King. I think Ugas finally getting his respects and know that, so he is going to take it. Yeah, it's his opportunity, no doubt about it, dude. Filipino politics is what most don't understand. Manny needed the win. Step aside money was pain, in my opinion. I live over here. Okay, so you live over there? Yeah, I heard he's got it. We got a lot of political pressure on him, man. Because he needs it. You talking about he needs it for political reasons? He said, he did great against Showtime, and I'm a big fan of Showtime. He on my pound for pound list. Man, I can understand that. I can definitely respect that. My man said, shit. Hold on 1 second. I got to hit the pause on this phone. All right, sorry. Oh, say yes for political reasons. Yeah, man, I heard he's got I read something about them saying he's trying to start his own political party. But he's at odds with the president, who's kind of a brutal cat. Mike, so boxers don't come back from that injury. Damn, us boxing fans get none of the good fights this year. Shake my head. Oh man, we are losing a lot of fights, but boxers do come back from that injury. Sugar Ray Leonard had a detached retina, and he came back from a detached retina. Yeah, I mean, and Abner Mares had a torn retina, and Abner Mares was able to. Well, I don't think he ever came back because he was already kind of shot and done. But my understanding was that he was cleared to fight. So I think Errol Spence will be back. I don't know how long he's going to be back for, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that he'll be back. I just don't know how long he'll be back for. Because, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body, man. A lot of wear and tear on the body. Champions get roughed up all the time. Yeah, it's like, I don't understand. Yeah, people think that you're just going to not get touched in sparring. That's not how that happened. If you saw the leaked Spence sparring, he's definitely not fighting in middleweight. En contraire, I saw the guy. The guy was bigger than Errol Spence was. Yeah, I saw that fight. That guy was bigger than Errol Spence in that fight. But I wasn't there when they recorded that. But that dude was definitely bigger than Errol Spence. He was not any, or I'll put it this way, he wasn't any smaller. That guy was a legit welterweight, if not a middleweight. Man, I have no idea, man. Argel said, thank you, Sir Fannon, for reading my chat. More power to you, sir. Salute. Hey, man, salute to you. That's what I do. This is what the chat is, man. I'm going to read. If you put it in the comment section, more than likely I'm going to get to it and read to it. If you put it in a super chat, it's a lot more likely to get read, and it's greatly appreciated. But yeah, I definitely want to continue to keep the chat going. Give me some more questions so we can keep the conversation going. Warrior84-ish said, I saw a great video that explains the difference between a tear and a detachment. From what was explained, he was showing no symptoms, just happened to be discovered during an eye exam. Yeah, that's my understanding of it as well. That he went into the pre-fight exam. I should get myself some water. Into the pre-fight exam. And the pre-fight medical exam, and it was discovered there. So yeah, it was, but so yeah, it got hit there, and just life is just kind of, it's how it is, man. Stephen Taylor said, Fannon, you may have answered this already. Disregard if so, but if Manny beats Ugas, how likely do you think the Spence versus Pacquiao fight is? I know Manny plans to run for president of the Philippines. I think it's oh man, what's going on? I think it is highly likely, man. I think there's a lot of money there, and Manny Pacquiao already said he'd be open to it. So if Manny Pacquiao wins, if he beats Ugas, it would be for a 3 belt. It's even more likely, because now it would be for 3 belts, and then put Manny Pacquiao or Errol Spence Jr. one fight away from Undisputed. What's going said Chillville says Spring 96 Beta Tar. What up, Noob? Chilling, man. What's going on, Fi? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Fi New Pie, my man. Fi New Pie. What is Ugas's new purse amount? I have no idea. I don't know if that's been revealed. That's typically something that gets revealed typically gets revealed like closer to the fight. One of those Mike Coppinger or what's that guy's name? Dan Rayfield or somebody like that will put that out. Excuse me. Yeah. Collecting greatness. One man's misfortune is a life change for the next. Prayers for Spence and a quick recovery. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a big come up for it's definitely a big come up for Ugas. He said Christopher side dude. Miracan. I think this was the plan all along. Spence Jr. was used to promote Manny Ugas versus Manny fight, so that when Spence fights Manny, it will be for the WBA belt, so sanctioning bodies will get paid twice. Man, that is a lot of coordination, my friend. That is a lot of coordination, and I don't know. I personally, you know what I think happened? I think that Errol Spence Jr. got punched in the eye, and he got a damaged retina. And as a result of the damaged retina, he had to pull out of the fight. They had already had Ugas was training to fight on the same day, and he has a championship belt. So it just made perfect sense to switch over and do that. Now, if there was any funny business, it was in the time of the conveying what the information was, but I don't think so. But there's a lot of funny business in boxing, man. So it is what it is, man. Yes, I heard. Oh, Lil Blake said, I heard that Ugas' opponent pulled out the same day of Spence accident and for the same accident on the eye. Yeah, that is what you call just, man, That's what you call highly, highly, highly unfortunate, man. Warrior 84-ish. So now that Spence match is canceled, as far as Ugas, I just don't see him lasting 12 rounds. In highlights, I've been watching him. Seems too slow and is very hittable. Pac-Man, look, you know what you guys are skipping on Manny Pacquiao? 4-2. Manny Pacquiao is 42 years old. 42 years old. This is not the same Manny Pacquiao that was fighting Juan Manuel Marquez, man. It's not the same Manny Pacquiao. The guy does not have the same speed. He does not have the same footwork, and because he's definitely getting hit flush a lot. by Keith Thurman. And getting hit that flushly by Keith Thurman is not a good look because Yordenis Ugas he's not on the downside, man. I'm telling you, I'm picking Yordenis Ugas in this fight. I think people just assuming that Manny Pacquiao is going to win this fight like this is some pushover fight for him. This is not some pushover fight. Yordenis Ugas is the real deal. Matter of fact, Yordenis, I would have been shocked. And Manny Pacquiao really go to Manny's camp. I've seen Manny's camp. That's not the same dude, man. Look, I've seen him, and I hear he's faster than most people, right? He's in great shape, but that's not the same dude, man. I'm telling you, that's not the same dude. Keith Thurman said it. I'm not the only one to make that observation. He's just does not look as quick. He doesn't look as explosive as he used to. And you know why that is? That's because he's 42 years old, dude. Robert said 42 years old and 5,000 rounds of pure wars. It's not like he was a KO artist. He's a grinder. Yeah, and that's another thing. People picking him to knock out Ugas. Seriously, when was the last time that he knocked out a welterweight? Seriously, when was the last time he knocked out a welterweight? I'm gonna look. The last time he knocked out a welterweight. Manny Pacquiao, Senators from the Philippines. Give me 1 second. Because I'm pretty sure the answer is Antonio Margarito. It is Miguel Cotto. Is 11 years ago. No, welterweight. Lucas Matisse ain't a welterweight. Lucas Matisse is coming up in weight from 140. Lucas Matisse is not a welterweight. So unless you want, you can count Lucas Matisse if you want to count Lucas Matisse. Personally, I would say that he hasn't a pure welterweight. I don't think he's ever knocked one out. Miguel Cotto was the last time he got a TKO stoppage against somebody that was a welterweight. Frequent flyer, Fannon. I know triangle theories are weak, but do you think Ugas beats Thurman? I think Ugas Pacquiao is a 55-45. Yes, I think Ugas beats Thurman. I absolutely think he's going to beat Thurman because Josecito Lopez almost beat Thurman, and I think if Thurman can do it, if Josecito Lopez can get that close, I think Thurman can get that. Thurman can get there. Yeah. I just don't think Manny Pacquiao is a knockout artist right now. So looking for him to get a knockout is like, no. I think I just don't see it happening, man. This guy is Pacquiao's biggest hater. No, I am not Manny Pacquiao's biggest hater. I am telling you that a 42-year-old man is about to fight somebody that is still in their prime. Manny Pacquiao is 5-6 years out of his prime, sir. Would I be hating on him if he's 50? I think Manny Pacquiao is a terrific fighter. I think he's a terrific person from what I can see. Seems like he's a very nice guy. Seems like, he has a lot of energy behind him. And I wish him the best in his political career. However, when you start talking about 42-year-old boxers, shoot, David Haye is coming out of retirement. David Haye has been washed and is coming back out at the age of 40. When they talk about people coming back out at the age of 40, and he's a little guy who doesn't have knockout power. Well, he's got some punching power, but not like he did when he was in the lower weight classes. He was beating people by an accumulation of punches and just constantly coming and hitting them and coming, and you know what I mean? Like, just, it was like a totality of the damage that he was inflicting. I don't see him being able to do that and come with that type of energy for 12 rounds like he used to. I'm just, it's just, I'm sorry, I can't do it, man. Much love in that super chat, man. He said Ugas is the fourth best welterweight. People are overlooking him. He got Rob versus Porter. Ugas is fighting for his people in Cuba who are protesting. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is a dangerous matchup. It's a dangerous matchup, man. I'm telling you. Good morning, Five. What's going on, Newt? Kevin Faulkner said, do you think that the torn retina will change Spence's fighting style? We will see more of a pure boxer as we observed with Mayweather's hand injuries. I don't know, man. I don't think so, though. I think you're going to probably get the same type of fighter, because I don't know how he's going to change. I think he's still going to be the same come forward fighter. I don't see any type of change in the way that he approaches his fights based off this injury, because he already comes behind a high guard and is very, protects his eye a good amount. So I don't think so. The only thing that I think is, or the thing that I question is whether or not, how many more fights Errol Spence Jr. is going to have. How many? Because I think that car accident probably did make him more injury prone. At least that's my thoughts on it. Duke Doom said Pac-Man is a great fighter, but Ugas is going to walk him down, and he can take punches. He's also never been down. I'm telling you, that is a tough fighter for him. That is a top welterweight that Manny Pacquiao is going to fight. And I know you Manny Pacquiao fans think that I'm just hating on him, but I'm not hating on him, dude. It's a dangerous fight. Man, much love in that super chat. My man, Jeffrey Brooks, who's always supporting big time. He said, don't forget Fannon. Pac-Man experience can overcome these young boxers' skills. Please don't forget his speed. Oh, I'm not forgetting him. I'm not forgetting it, and you're right. I'm not now. It's a difficult fight. Look. Honestly, for me, it's all of the names aside, and all of the what people did in their, in back in the past. If you set all that down and you just look at the two fighters, dude. My feeling, my gut tells me Yordenis Ugas. But the thing is that Yordenis Ugas is going to really have to beat Manny Pacquiao to get a decision. I don't think it's going to be a close fight and they get a decision. It's not going to be one of those scenarios. He's got to press Manny Pacquiao from the first round, take it to him from the first round, and then we'll see what happens. But it's just real tough, man. Somebody talking smack. The winner is the American coward Errol the Duck Spence Jr. Ha 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 ha. You put this shit in there twice, man. I was gonna let you go. I was gonna let it slide, dog. Now I gotta block you because you did it twice. Now I gotta get you out of here. Once is cool. Don't do that twice, man. Christopher said, Sir Fannon, I think Errol Spence is done with that serious injury. The funny thing is he will retire much earlier than Manny Pacquiao. Nah, I don't think he's going to retire. I think that he'll be back. I think he's got a couple more fights from him. The doctor said that it's something that can be healed, and it's something that is okay. So he got it. He gets his surgery done. Other people had a lot of fights. Let me see how many fights Sugar Ray Leonard had with a detached one. one second. Sugar Ray Leonard. So, yeah, he detached it in 84, came back in 87, fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He fought 6 more times. Last time he waited a whole 6 years to come out and fight Hector Camacho. That was a dummy move, but yeah, I think he'll be fine. B. Cherry, the PBC needs to let Crawford get the winner of Manny and Ugas early next year while Errol fully heals, and we get an undisputed Errol Crawford fight around that time. That wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't have an issue with that, but I think he's going to be full healed in like 4 weeks. The time frame for that injury is 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks before you can go back to normal activity. Now I don't know what the what that means for boxing, but still, and he'll probably have like increased eye guards. He'll probably have the one that comes across like this and really protects the eye. But we'll see. All fighters will attack Spence's eye, especially Crawford. They already attacking his eye. Like, that ain't nothing new. They're going to attack. The boxers are always trying to attack each other's eye. But I don't know what you're going to do like that is going to be able to set. And if that's what you're focusing on completely, man, I think you're going to get messed up. But I think people are always looking at attacking your eyes, hitting you in the eye. Hitting you on the chin, hitting you in the eye, tapping you on your nose. That's not for me. Morning, Mr. Perfect said, morning, Mr. Blackwell. Could possibly this be a sign what happened to Kell Brook if Crawford ever get a fight? Spence, got to take that in consideration. Come on, Oz in that super chat, man. He said, why would the PBC help Crawford? Dumb comments on here. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty much. But I'm saying, it's not going to happen. That's a good point. Jeffrey Brooks in the building. Much love in that super chat, sir. Jeffrey Brooks, from the big time supporting the channel, said even if Spence returns, his eye will most definitely become a target. Also, I wonder how many Spence fans is about to jump ship to Bud Crawford. Yeah, that would be interesting to see if there's a bunch of people that do that. I don't see that happening. But look, I ain't gonna jump the gun on the injury. If the guy says he's that he's able to come back off of a tear in the back of his eye, then what's the chance of somebody really thumbing and digging into your eye again, But yeah, there's a huge difference. Is that, like my man Galvatron said, Brooke had a broken eye socket. Yeah, and he had all kind of the eye socket, the orbital bones. He broke the bones around his eye. And then he had it all like fixed with steel, metal rods put in there and all kind of stuff. So when the pressure from all of that, he gets hit on the other side and it breaks on the other side. But yeah, it's a different type of injury, but the point is still well taken that you're basically saying, can you be in a scenario where you're in like repeat injuries? And that, I mean, once you get hurt, your body starts breaking down. It can show up in a lot of different ways. So, Planet 619 said 4-week injury, and folks are making these grand proclamations about it ending his career with zero evidence to support such an assertion. I hear Retina think Sugar Ray retiring and go goofy. It's a serious injury, man. Tasman, message deleted, message deleted, message deleted. Tasmanian. Oh, okay. You said something. What? Ugh. MP Ung. Excuse me. Pac-Man knocks out Ugas and then Spence next. Probably early next year. Then the winner of Crawford for Undisputed champion in 2022. Hey, man, let me tell you, if he accomplishes that, that would absolutely be an indictment on all of the boxers that are fighting right now. Like I was thinking about this, like people ask the question about whether a win over the win over Errol Spence or him doing that means that Manny Pacquiao is greater than Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I'm like, if he does that, that's an indictment on these fighters. Seriously. If he was to beat the winner of Ugas, if he was able to beat Ugas, then was able to beat Errol Spence, and then was able to beat Terrence Crawford, it tells you those guys ain't what they cracked up to be. Seriously, because there's no way that a guy that lost to Eric Morales way back in the day, lost by knockout to Juan Manuel Marquez, is now 42 years old, right? 42 years old, should be able to walk through them like that. That is not going to happen, dog, pretty much. However, that does not mean that I don't respect Manny Pacquiao, Mr. Ong. I want to tell you guys that I do respect Manny Pacquiao. With me, again, it's just, dude, like I said, I'm 52, and you cannot tell me that age 42 is the same thing as age 29 and age 30. You're not the same. You do not have the same athleticism that you had back then. Even if you keep yourself in, even with good steroids, man, even with good steroids, you're still going to lose something. Because look, man, if he was on steroids, right? He was on steroids then. So he had been a 32-year-old on steroids and a 42-year-old on steroids. Give me the 32-year-old on steroids over the 42-year-old on steroids, okay? He's still not going to be the same guy that he was, even if he does. And on top of it, if he's been on steroids this whole time, then those steroids are going to be less and less effective for him. When you get over if steroids could get every 42-year-old to where they could compete with a bunch of other young 32-year-old guys, dude, I don't even know if the steroids is going to do that for you. Say Boxing Life in that super chat, man. He says, supporting the channel, just dropped my 18-year-old off at college, Columbus State, Georgia, man. Salute to you and just dropped your 18-year-old, and your 18-year-old off. Man, that's a beautiful thing, though. I got my daughter, just got back from her first summer internship, and she's on her way back to Howard to go to school. So, man, thank you, man, for helping support it, because that definitely goes towards supporting my daughter. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys' help in that regard. And my man, Cop Killer, notice these racist retrobates hating on Spence, saying he's ducking washed up Mrs. Pac-Man. They didn't have the same smoke for Canelo, who ducked Boo Boo, Ward, Charlo, Plant, and Benavidez. Look, there's a difference. Oh yeah, man, hit the like, man. There's only 100 people liking the video. Go ahead, hit the like button, man. Let me check out the likes. After I thank my man Nick. Much love in that super chat, Nick. He said the biggest duck ever was Floyd avoiding Paul Williams, the one guy that made Taylor, that was tailor-made to give him problems. Dream fight, both prime Marcos versus one time. Prime Marcos versus one time. I got to read that again. The biggest duck ever was Floyd avoiding Paul Williams. The one guy that was tailor-made to give him problems. The dream fight, both prime, and they're both in their prime. Marcus Maidana versus one time. Yeah, that would be a great fight. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Sorry about that, man. I had to take care of my nose. So, but much love, Nick, in that super chat. Thank you so much for your support. And let me see. Let me ask for these likes, man. Much love, Nick, in that super chat. Yeah, we got 123 now, 308 in the building. Let's get the likes up to 300. Hold on, you can't say that was the biggest duck because he said, nah, the biggest duck was Mayweather ducking Manny in their prime. Man, they fought. They fought. You can't call that a duck. He fought him. And that was, I don't know who that was, man. Manny Pacquiao at the time was with Bob Arum, and Bob Arum is not the biggest guy in the world on making some of these fights, man. You know what I mean? I got to correct you again, man. Purple Sam. People forget. 8 division champs, 7 fighting big guys, and still not enough. For these kind of people, Pac should win a fight and against a heavyweight for them to accept the truth. Purple Sam, I'm gonna be right back to you after I thank my man Smooth Groove Boxing in that super chat, man. Thank you so much for your support, Smooth Groove Boxing. Let me back up onto this, man, real quick. All right. First things first. I'm a nitpicker. So, he is not a 8 division champion. He is a 7 division champion. The division that does not count is the 140 IBO belt that he won against Ricky Hatton, okay? That is not a major championship belt. That is just a secondary belt, okay? You know, he wouldn't get credit if he won the NABF or something like that, or the IBO. So you don't get credit for the IBO. You don't get credit for the IBA. You don't get get credit for the NABF. You don't get credit for the WBA regular or the WBC champion in recess. You don't get you don't get that, okay? Because he's a champion in recess and ain't nobody counting that. So don't count the WBO, the IBO, excuse me, the IBO belt that he won against Ricky Hatton. Fighting big guys and not enough. Look, everybody understands he's fought bigger guys, and yeah, he's a Hall of Fame fighter. For these kind of Pac people, Pac should win a fight against a heavyweight for them to accept the truth. Look, man, the guy's 42 years old. I don't know for me, he's 42 years old. You're going to continue? How long are you going to continue to bet on a guy that is 42 years old? A smaller fighter that relies on his quickness, relies on his speed, and he's 42 years old. Speed decreases as you get older, okay? Your foot speed specifically. He's not as fast as he used to be. His footwork and all of that is not as fast as it used to be. I'm sorry. He beat Keith Thurman. Good win for beating Keith Thurman. But Keith Thurman was also coming off of injuries. This guy, Yordenis Ugas, is not coming off of any injuries. And I'm telling you, it is a very, very dangerous fight for Manny Pacquiao. And I don't think that there's anything hating. That's not hating on Manny Pacquiao to say that. That's just looking at the scenario for what the scenario is. It's a 42-year-old man. And I don't care how many Ellie Sethback videos they see. You can run all that off. You can do that all day. You can run laps. You can do all that stuff that you want to do. None of that stuff is getting in the ring and doing it when you got somebody throwing bombs back at you. And I'm telling you, he's been much more hittable. And this is a tough fight, man. Pacquiao is nowhere. He's very good, man. He's very good. Okay, he won the Ring Magazine as well versus Hatton. That's not, no. Ring Magazine's not a real belt. Ring Magazine does not count, man. Ring Magazine. Hey, I like that though. In Pyong. I like that. But it's 7. The Ring Magazine belt does not count. But if you're counting the Ring Magazine belt, then a lot more people got championships. Yeah, Manny did lose to Floyd. Nick Menendez. Yeah, Minis. Nick Minis. I don't think Pac-Man could have beaten Floyd ever. Floyd would always force Manny to think and reduce the fight down to outpointing him. I mean, on the real, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd's just a better fighter in my opinion. But, you guys can Manny's a great fighter, though. So keep loving Manny Pacquiao. Much love in that super chat. Definitely appreciate you. Oh, if his boxer is better, then go ahead and do it. I'm sure he loves Manny Pacquiao. Hey, what up, Fannon? Detroit in the house, just checking in. Hearts go out to Spence and family. Yes, sir. They're very upbeat. They're very upbeat people, though, so they'll be good. Jeffrey Brooks in that super chat, man, supporting the channel big time. Much love in that super chat. He said Thurman underestimated Pac-Man. Plus, he was trying to make history. If he can still throw them hands at 42s, then I'm supporting him. I appreciate that. Man, look, knock yourself out. I ain't gonna hate on the dude if he wins. And guess what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll be here right after the fight for everybody to tell me how wrong I am. But I am just on GP. I am not picking 42-year-old men. That shit is a bad bet, dog. It's just like, let me put it this way. If I bet on Manny Pacquiao, if you keep making Manny Pacquiao the favorite, I'm gonna make my money back by betting against him at this point in time, dog. Hey, holler at you, Robert. Thanks for stopping by, man. Gino was here, said Pacquiao. Now that ain't no joke. Pacquiao fears no man, only God. Prayers for Spence. I hope Spence recovers and fights Crawford. Bad year in boxing. Ugas is a tough fight. Yes, sir. It is a bad year in boxing. They need to start doing so. I really wish these promoters would start working together more. Because there's a lot of really great fights that can be made in boxing, but they just sit on them and don't make them, looking for trying to do in-house fights, and they got all kind of fights all kind of crappy fights getting made constantly. Man, much love in that super chat, man. Chris Perkins said, hey, Fannon, Errol is the toughest boxer in boxing right now. Hands down, man down. Yes, sir. Jojo Brana, it seems you are underestimating Pac. I could be. I'm telling you, I'm not. This is not based on Pac. This is based upon his age and what he looks like. Well, it is based on Pac. I don't know, man. How much are you willing to bet? Jojo, tell me how much you're willing to bet and put it in the super chat. That's easy talk. It's easy to talk about betting me. Jojo, I will bet you whatever amount of money you put in the super chat. I'll bet you that. So whenever you do it, I'll pay you that and the difference. But that way I know that I got to bet. If you don't put nothing in the super chat, you ain't serious about betting me. Put the money up. And I'll be here. You know where my channel is. I'll be here. The Ring magazine is even more prestigious than some recognized belts. Not every champ gets the Ring magazine. It's special. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, but it's not an organized, it's not a sanctioning body. They don't put on fights. You don't fight for the Ring magazine belt. They designate it. That's a designation. Nobody fights for the Ring belt. You know what I'm saying? So unless they start organizing fights and putting fights on, then I can't say that you're a champion. That they're a magazine. You know what I'm saying? It's like ESPN names if an ESPN was to name champions. Ring magazine is just it's a magazine and it's owned by Oscar De La Hoya. So I don't do that. Much love in that super chat, man. Jeffrey Brooks said, says, I'm 42, so he needs to do it for us old men and give hope against these millennials. Yeah, man. Hey, I hear you, man. I hear you, Jeffrey Brooks. I see that Fahim Satur trying to rub something in. Ain't made no announcement yet. Yeah, man. Look, 42 ain't 30. I'm 52, so 42 42 ain't 52. And 22, you know what I'm saying? Like 12, and you know the difference between 12 and 22 is? The same difference between 22 and 32, right? 32, you're prime. You know what you're doing. You're strong. 42, you are definitely over that hump on a decline. That's just how your body works, man. And you're not, and there's just no way that he's overcoming that. Now, can he get Yordenis Ugas? You know, he's coming from a very high place. So maybe, you know, his descent is still above where Yordenis Ugas is. But we'll see. He said, Gatstrack said, is Ring a magazine or a belt? Oh, it's a magazine. Yeah, exactly. It's a magazine. They don't get to say so. But let me tell you, though, there's not much difference between a 7 and an 8 division champion. Seriously. That's a lot, dude. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. It's a lot of divisions to have one belts in, for sure. My man Santos in the building says, and let me before I read that though. Hey, look, we got 300 people in the building. We got 146 likes, man. Can we get the likes up? Huge difference. But when a last minute replacement happens so close like Pacquiao Ugas, can you shed a light on how you think the strategy, training, mindset changes? What do you think coaches and managers say do? Well, that's not my strength telling you what a trainer would do, but I know that the sparring is going to immediately change from getting in work with a southpaw to start working with more orthodox fighters. So I think that pretty much with this, you know, that's pretty much what I think is going to be. And just changing the sparring partners and getting adjusted to fighting somebody that is an orthodox fighter again. That's an advantage for Manny Pacquiao, though. Mr. Alak said, Fannon, but George Foreman was 45 when he beat Michael Moore. Yeah, a 45-year-old heavyweight fighting a guy that was a light heavyweight moving up and hit him on the top of the head. He was losing that fight, and he dung him. You know what I mean? But that's George Foreman, who's got one-punch knockout power. If Manny Pacquiao had one-punch knockout power, then, you know, I think maybe you'd have a better point. But because one-punch knockout is one-punch knockout, and you're looking for an opportunity. But George Foreman was getting beat by Michael Moore the whole time. But he set up that right hand and boom, bop, and that dude was up out of there. Reminds me. Ooh-wee. Just that reminds me. Give me 1 second. Yo, man, I'll do that in a later. Hopefully I'll be able to remember that. Cop killer, that's not for me. Yeah, a lot of guys really seem like you're looking for Errol Spence to be hurt, man. He said, no, another Manny for 100 years. Nah, he's a special fighter, man. There'll never be another Manny Pacquiao, ever. He's a very unique fighter, man. Like Manny Pacquiao is the truth. Definitely one of the greatest fighters that I've seen in my lifetime, and a fighter that you cannot. I mean, you can't help but like. You know, I'm rooting for him in what he does in life. You know, all I'm saying is that, you know, shoot, there's only one Muhammad Ali. There ain't been a Muhammad Ali since. However, when you get to be 38 years old and you've had so many wars since you're 21 years old, you know, you get in the ring with Larry Holmes, who's an up and coming fighter in his prime, and things can go badly. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I've been around the block a few times, you know, and have seen these older fighters who you just, you know, it just takes one fight and all of a sudden, man, that shit is just gone. You never know. Like, you never know when it's going to leave. It could be like Roy Jones Jr. Like, he looked like a world beater and nobody could ever beat him after he beat John Ruiz. But then, boom, all of a sudden he becomes a knockout dog all of a sudden because he goes back down in weight, you know? Galvatron in this building. Much love in that super chat, man. He said, can you imagine? Oh, man. Can you imagine if Ugas pulls the upset, though? Pacquiao fans will jump off a cliff and yell all the way down that it was a robbery. Hit the like button. Yes, hit that like button. Look, man, I'm kind of trying to be nice to Manny Pacquiao fans because they're Filipinos. And I understand that the Filipinos and Filipinas, the Philippines that are fans of Manny Pacquiao are rooting for a guy that's from their country, and that's their guy. So I don't take too much offense to it. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't have really any issue with them at all. But the problem is, again, that I'm just not gonna. You said they not now? No. Hell no, but they got one fighter. Look, they got two fighters, but they really got one fighter in Manny Pacquiao. They got another guy. Damn. How many of y'all really buying the fight? I'm buying the fight. I got to see this fight. I'm honestly crazy, Fahim. I'm just as excited for this fight as I was for the Errol Spence Jr. fight. I really am. Because I'm telling you, man, I think this is going to be real interesting, man. He said, Akbar streaming it for free. Yeah, I'm going to buy the fight, man. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Yeah, he said Pacquiao versus Ugas. Casemiro versus Rigondeaux. We know you're Filipino. You must be Filipino. Because the Filipinos are the only ones whose names you spelled right. The battle of the best fighter in their countries. Yep. I can't wait for Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux is this week, though. Man, I'm looking forward to Rigondeaux. Come on, Rigondeaux. I'm rooting for Rigondeaux over your boy Casemiro. I ain't gonna lie. I hope Casemiro gets his jaw broke. I ain't gonna lie. Like, now that may sound bad, but for real, I hope that he recovers from his broken jaw. But I'm hoping Guillermo Rigondeaux gives him one of them special yak and yak crack, sit down, don't even come back out of your corner type of situations. Oh, it said, Mighty J Game, he said, are you 100% serious about betting in the super chat for this fight? And when is the last day you taking bets? No, dog, I ain't serious about it. If I was going to bet you, I'd have to say, give me your email, and then we'll figure out how we can pay each other. Nah, I was just messing with the dude because I knew he wasn't going to put it in. He wasn't going to put it in the super chat. Heck no, I ain't trying to bet you. I'm not that convinced. Kevin Faulkner, please don't let us have to shift through slow motion videos of Ugas and Manny Pacquiao fight. For that, I hope Pac-Man wins. Let me tell you, man, they could show me all of the slow-mos, all the slow-mo shots that they want to show. I ain't going to watch it no matter what. If he loses, he loses. That's what it is. And they'll be upset about it because it is what it is, man. ZZ Zap. Pacquiao had an injury against Mayweather, but didn't cancel it. Americans said he was making excuses. Spence says he has eye injury. Back out. And Americans applaud his courage. What hypocrisy? No hypocrisy. There is literally no hypocrisy in the statement that you just said. Those are two entirely different scenarios. Manny Pacquiao said that he was okay to fight. So he fights and he loses. After that, he says, I had a shoulder injury, and then people say he's making an excuse. Spence says he has an injury. He says that I am not okay to fight, and he doesn't fight. There's no excuse to be made. He's telling you, I can't fight. That's not an excuse. He pulled out. Unless you're saying the eye energy is an excuse not to fight versus an excuse to why you lose. Those don't parallel very well, man. Sorry about that, but, no go on the parallel on that one, man. Okay, I already got you. Jerome said, only Mexican can fight Senator Manny Pacquiao. I don't get what that is. King James better than overrated Jordan. No, that's not hypocrisy, man. If this would have been hypocrisy, if Manny, because you have to do the same scenario. They're not the same scenario, so that's not hypocrisy. It's two different scenarios. You get what I'm saying? So if Manny Pacquiao had pulled out of the fight with an eye injury, and then I say, oh, you're so terrible for pulling, you're a coward, you're a duck artist, and then Errol Spence Jr. pulls out with an eye injury, and then I say, oh, that's reasonable. That would be hypocrisy because you're talking about the same thing. You're not talking about the same thing in this. It's not hypocrisy because in one instance, Manny Pacquiao said he was good to fight. And then afterwards, he says, I wasn't good to fight. Errol Spence Jr. saying, I'm not good to fight. So he doesn't fight. It's two different scenarios, man. You can't compare them. Not to be calling somebody a hypocrite anyway. Much love in that super chat, man. Said, I'm going to the Undisputed fight at 147, whoever that may be. I just want to see. I just wanted it to be Spence versus Bud. It's probably still going to be Spence versus Bud. Man, what's going on, Mr. Hamka? Shout out to you in Australia, man. What's going on? Rainier Rivera said, I'm a Filipino, but I pray for Spence's recovery, man. That's a stand-up way to be. No doubt about it. Definitely a stand-up way to be. Let me back up a little bit. Fannon, after this year in boxing, if Rigo loses, I'll fuck around and cry. Man, Rigondeaux ain't losing, man. Rigondeaux's about to get this. I'm not so impressed with Casemiro. I went back and watched Casemiro's fights. Casemiro is, he's a strong fighter that lands big shots. I don't see him land. As long as Guillermo Rigondeaux is fighting the typical way that he fights and he doesn't stand there like head to head and exchange shots with Casemiro, I think it'd be good against a smaller man. Because in this fight, the bigger man is Guillermo Rigondeaux. Mighty J Gaming said, Ugas doesn't have enough movement. I don't gotta like Manny to know he'll be all over him. He don't got the power at all to keep Pac off of him. Well, we'll see. We'll see. And maybe hey, look, dude, there's a chance that I'm over relying on this 42-year-old, them being over 42 years old. I don't think that I am. But, there's definitely a chance that I could be, overdoing it. Said, my man, Mr. Alak said, this is the best boxing channel on the net. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So support the channel. I appreciate you, man. Z-Zap, why is Spence's photo on his right eye is bandaged, but reporters say his left eye was injured? Well, either the picture is flipped, because that happens in pictures sometimes. When you take a picture, it's actually the opposite side sometimes. And then the other option is that the reporters were wrong. If it was a selfie, then it's flipped. So, you know how cameras work. Sometimes it gives you the reverse. My man Galvatron said, it's not about power, though. Ugas is Cuban and can definitely beat Manny Pacquiao on points. Yeah, now that I don't know about, Galvatron, because he's going to have to actually get the decision on points. And every time somebody throws a punch in that thing, and every time somebody throws a punch in that fight, a bunch of cheers are going to go off for Manny Pacquiao. Every time he throws a punch. So you know how that goes. Be Easy said it's a camera flip. Come on, people. Yeah, or here's the other thing. It could be a camera flip or the reporter got it wrong. There's a bunch of times reporters get stuff wrong, but let me check the like button, man. Are we over 200 likes? Come on, man. We got 274 people in there. We can get 17 likes, and I'm trying to be gentle. I've been super gentle to my Filipino friends, so I don't know why I got all these dislikes in here, Let me back up a little bit. Oh, actually, let me come back down a little bit. Musa Hama, much love in that super chat, man. He said, Fannon, what happened to Spence and who's Manny's opponent now? I missed it. Please explain thoroughly. Oh, okay. So Errol Spence Jr. got a torn retina in reportedly his left eye. And now his new opponent is Yordenis Ugas. Now, if you recall, Yordenis Ugas, you guys is tripping, man. Could be another excuse to do. Anyway, so yeah, it was a torn retina, which is going to put out Errol Spence Jr. for, I think they said from 2 to 4 weeks for the surgery before they can go back to regular activities. So he obviously can't fight Manny Pacquiao, and so an undercard fighter who is the WBA champion, Yordenis Ugas, is now fighting him, and that's pretty much the whole thing. Ooh, I went way back. And thank you so much. I don't know if I gone for the super chat. And thank you so much for supporting on the super chat, man. Thank you. Edward Padlin. That's a cute dog. Rigo will go all Mexican mode against Casemiro because this will be his last audition to impress American promoters. I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to. If he does that, he's going to get knocked out. If he does that, if Manny, I'm going to tell you this, if Rigondeaux decides to go toe-to-toe with Casemiro, that is a bad, bad decision, and that is doing exactly what Casemiro wants him to do, man. Yeah, I know he's not Mexican, but he's saying he's going to go all Mexican mode on him, which means he's just going to go try to bang the fight out. I don't think that would be a very smart thing at all for him to be doing, man. Sir Fannon, what's going on, Mr. Iram again? He said, I am hoping to win Manny so that lots of poor people in the Philippines will receive Pac's blessing, especially to this pandemic. Yeah, man, that is wild, man. He has a whole lot of people really, really, really supporting him, man, in like ways that are just like having people behind him. That in that political sense, that's an interesting combination, man. Like Mike said, Derek James said Spence wasn't feeling anything before they found out the retinal tear, which is BS. If you have a retinal tear or detachments, you have visual symptoms. Maybe not. Maybe not. If you said he wasn't feeling anything, he wasn't feeling anything. Maybe it's a very minor tear, but they discovered it when they checked his eye and they're like, oh, I see a tear. That's not. Why is that? You guys just trying really, really hard to find something where this guy is a liar, man. I think you're going overboard with that. The man had an accident. Why can't you take him at his word? I mean, just because you wanted Errol Spence, you wanted Manny Pacquiao to beat him, doesn't mean the guy's a terrible guy that's just gonna walk around and lie for no reason. Musa Hamka said, I think Ugas has been unlucky with the judging in the past, and he is a top and smart boxer. If he spoke English and was marketable, he would have a better chance scoring from the judges. What do you think? I mean, there could probably be some truth to that, but he definitely got a little bit of a bad rap on the on the Sean Porter fight for sure. Renee Parks, great Shannon. Need the gong. Here you go. What is your take on Manny and the veteran Hearns comparison? Who would have won? Manny versus Tommy Hearns. This is great for Karani James Country. Kudos. I think those are way two different weight classes of people, man. Just radically different size people. Radically different. So I don't know, man. I would tend to lean towards Thomas Hearns because Thomas Hearns started at welterweight, but then he moved up to light heavyweight, all the way up to light heavyweight. He's 6 foot tall. It's just a bad matchup for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao really at his best is a lightweight. Oh yeah, he said I agree with all you say, except for Terrence Bud Crawford. Yeah, but look, man, y'all, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for coming to the chat this morning. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. Make sure you guys come by tomorrow, and I'll check you out tomorrow. With that, I'm out. Peace.